WSBT 22 News at 5.
The options for cardiovascular procedures expanding over the last decade. In fact, among options for patients with aortic stenosis, a minimally invasive procedure that's known as TAVR.
Beacon Health System is seeing success as more patients opt for the procedure. In this month's Eye on Health, one of those patients tells us she has a new outlook on life. Diana Miller just turned 80 years old. She enjoys music and art and spending time with her family. Miller has faced some medical challenges over the years. She is going blind, and aortic stenosis meant even a trip to the mailbox left her struggling to breathe.
I didn't want to live like I was living then because it was just too much. I lost my sight, and then I can't walk and I can't get around, and I was feeling so discouraged by that. So I found out about the procedure. I wanted it.
In May, Miller decided the TAVR procedure was a way to take control of her life and regain some independence. The decision was an easy one after meeting Dr. Walter Holleran and Dr. Adil Wani at Beacon Health System.
He didn't give me some plastic models because I wouldn't be able to see him anyway. He just took my fingers and he moved my fingers in his hand and he said, "This is what your valve is doing now." And then he said, "This is what your valve is going to be doing."
Decades ago, aortic stenosis, which is calcification of the valve, would have required open heart surgery. Now the TAVR procedure offers another option.
I think it comes down to, understanding the patients themselves. What we do here is, we let the patients know how this disease is going to affect them, and we make a decision together.
According to Dr. Holleran, surgical valve replacements were successful. So when this minimally invasive procedure was introduced over a decade ago, many doctors had questions.
So when we rolled into the transcatheter valve implantation, we had real concerns about will there be a higher stroke risk? Is the valve going to last? Will the valve hold in place? Will it leak? All of those questions that, as a surgeon, I had were very important to me. And what has turned out over the course of the decade or so that we've been doing it is that the implantation of the valve is successful and it's safe, the stroke risk is low.
Dr. Holleran and Dr. Wani said the valves were more durable than they had hoped, and the procedure allows patients to go home the next day. A thin, flexible tube is inserted into the artery to guide the heart valve. Then the valve is expanded into place. The procedure does not remove an old valve, rather fits into the diseased one.
All the arteries actually lead to the heart, but the arteries have to be big enough for the delivery system to go in through them. And the big arteries that one has is, in the groin or, in the neck as well.
The procedure offers more options to people who may not have been candidates for open heart surgery. The fact that the procedure is minimally invasive was definitely a selling point for Miller. She doesn't know if she would have gone through with another procedure.
Well, in the day, we used to crack open the whole chest, and I went deaf at that point. I didn't hear another word he said.
For Miller, the results of the TAVR procedure were nearly instant. Miller says she now has freedom that she felt she was losing.
Difference between day and night, immediately.
Beacon Health System has performed over 1,000 structural heart procedures, including TAVR. They say that is a great success story for healthcare and Beacon. Stick with us.